this is Collegiate TV. We're sitting here with Billy West. He is a
Hi.
phenomenal voice actor extraordinaire. He's been in many different things, some of which you college freshmen probably never even seen.
Like,
Happy, happy, joy, joy. This is Stimson J. Cat of the Ren and Stimpy Show. And this is Ren Horick. At last, I have control of your camera, you fool! Then I did Doug. He's a, painfully average 11-and-a-half-year-old, and my dog Pork Chop. And Roger Klotz, too. Vote for this, loser.
and a bunch of other stuff.
And most notably, you guys will recognize the voices from Futurama, of course.
Yeah,
Man, all this constant exposure to radiation is making me thirsty.
young lady, bring me a sandwich from the dumpster and leave the maggots on it.
So, first question I wanted to ask you is, what made you want to get into voice acting, or how did you?
It was like, it's one of those things that you don't choose, it chose me. I mean, I had, whatever was going on, I had to go with that. You know, it was like I had nothing to say about it. I couldn't not do it. You know, even though there was no outlet and no place to do it, I didn't care. I used to Tourette out voices and noises wherever I went.
You had mentioned something about being a musician earlier.
Yes.
Or did you also do voice? Were you
On stage?
Yeah.
Sure, when an amp blew up or you broke a guitar string, people would sit there and look at you. And I didn't want to look like a fried egg on stage, just like, I'll be with you in a minute, you know. So I used to screw around and do all kinds of stuff. And, I had a lot of stage experience. And, that kind of ran its course, so I had to figure out something else to do. So I went where they do need people that can be silly and play with voices and, fearless, not scared of anything.
So,
Radio.
I don't want to ask you your favorite character act, because I know the favorites question, and
Yeah.
Wikipedia says Ren or Stimpy and Fry are your two favorite characters. But most
Where they lie their asses off on there, don't they?
Yeah. What about most difficult ones to voice?
Difficult, well, the most difficult one ever was, I got the assignment to do Popeye for Fox 3D CGI Popeye cartoon. And it was called The Quest for Pappy, Popeye's Voyage, and that was the hardest thing I ever had to do. Because it was like a buzzsaw. It was killing me. I was up in Vancouver for 3 days screaming and yelling, and I don't know. I felt like I had to rally to die. I mean, it's like, they're saying, you okay? I said, yeah, I'm good. And they'd say, well, you're 95% there. What?
I have a question about Futurama. How much of this is ad-libbing? Do you follow the script to a T?
Yes.
So
You have to honor the writer's work. They work real hard to craft those lines and those jokes, and you've got to honor that. However, they're cool enough to go, have you got any ideas? If they see you're twitchy and you want to try something, they're more than happy to let you try something, and sometimes it stays. Just something stupid.
Do you have an example of a specific moment you?
Well, I remember one time I went to a table read and they were talking, they were reading it and saying, all right, we begin our episode, zoom in tight on the Planet Express building. And where we see a sign in the window, and I said, sorry, we're open. And they'll put it in.
Let's see what was I. Oh yeah. Do you still play guitar?
Yes, I do. I have all kinds of guitars in my room, and I go in there when there's nothing else to do and just play. And, come out of there at 3 in the morning. I won't know how much time has gone by, but I miss it, but I'll get to it sometime.
So how long have you been playing guitar?
I had my first band in 1966.
Wow, so it's been a while. Do you prefer acoustic or electric?
I like it all. And I also like all kinds of music. It wasn't like I just liked rock and roll. I love Aaron Copland. I like symphonic jazz. I like straight jazz, Dixieland, Louis Armstrong. And you name it, I really like it. And I like world music too. When you hear music from like different parts of Africa or the Middle East. I get excited about any kind of musical expression. You can hear the passion in it. You can feel the heart beating. You know, not like this stuff that pops up on the radio every 30 seconds, like, you know. The end of one song is just the beginning of another, and I know that's such an old, grumpy man thing to say, but I don't, to me it sounds like that.
What's the top song on your playlist right now?
I'm in love with a stripper.
No, I don't know. No, I listen to iPod, you know?
Yeah. So it's just
I
all.
program in the most weird peripheral, you know, the Twilight Zone soundtrack from 1957. Yeah.
So I noticed something about doing my own research about you being a vegan. What made you decide to become a vegan?
I lived in New York, and I noticed I was getting sick every day. I started to get sick every day. I'd go to a restaurant, and I'd come out on the street, and like, within 5 minutes, I'd be like, and I said, I don't believe this, maybe I'm dying. You know, and I was being food poisoned around the city because they're paying off the health inspectors. So I was seriously food poisoned. I had like a thing, and you know, I forget what it was called, Campylobacter or you know, Listeria. I don't know what was going on there. H. pylori, you know, the whole alphabet. And I had to be like treated for it. And they say, well, you don't have cancer. It's just you really get poisoned. And so I said, you know what? I'm not eating meat no more. I'm not eating anything that's more prone to carrying foodborne illness. I just was sick of it. Sick of being sick, and I started eating just pure veg, and then I went all the way. No more dairy, no more cheese. I have some bird seed in my pocket if you want to share with me. But no meat, no chicken, no fish. But there's plenty of vegan cooking that's just unbelievable. My ex-wife was a vegan chef. And I used to come home and I used to get like, it tasted like southern fried chicken. It would be a piece of dried tofu and everything. Plus, I think it was the smartest thing I ever did, because I was always hurting and I didn't look quite right, you know. I had my heart checked a little while back. They did every test in the world on it, and this guy's like flipping out and he's going, whatever it is you're doing, I would just keep doing it. You know, and I said, why, what's up? And he goes, you have the heart of a 19-year-old. And I said, well, why is that? You have no plaque. You know, I'm nothing. It's like, you know, so lucky me. Something else will go, like my knee. Maybe I had a heart attack in my knee, like Dick Cheney. Well, he had one in his ear and his knee.
You mentioned Boston. Have you actually been out there to a restaurant called Life Alive, speaking of vegan?
I've heard of it, but I haven't been there yet.
Okay, I just have to say, I recommend that. If
Oh
you're
yeah?
ever in
Is
there.
that where you went to school?
No, I went up there for a National Poetry Slam, and so I went up there and found that restaurant. But yeah, you were talking about the vegan cooking, and it's really delicious.
It is good.
It really is.
Yeah, in another 50 years, everybody's going to be a vegan. I hate to tell you.
So I noticed another little tid point. College kids rely on Wikipedia. You know how it is.
Right. I think they write it.
Right. But the movie star actors have voiceovers to films. One of your pet peeves is that.
All I'll tell you is when I was growing up, my heroes weren't friggin' celebrities. They were artists. You know, I'm sorry. I don't know what to make of celebrities. I never understood it. I probably will never understand it. It's just like celebrity means you're more lucky than anything. You may not have any talent at all, yet you are eligible to star in a cartoon movie. This just makes no sense to me as an artist, and I'm not going to stew about it. They say, well, what are you bitching about? You do everything. I said, what about the 19-year-old girl who's out there that's a firebrand, that's filled with passion and has lots of characters and voices who will never get seen? You know what I mean? Because Kim Kardashian wants to be the voice of a goldfish or something, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Have you ever seen my impression of her?
No, please.
Well,
Can I get you, before we gotta wrap it up?
Yeah,
can I get
sure.
you to do a voice here? Our school recently had a budget deficit, and they forced 282 layoffs of
What do you mean?
professors. So I would like the professor to respond to him being laid off because of this whole budget crisis. Like,
Laid off from Planet Express?
laid off from, well, his job at Mars University.
Oh, right.
I used to teach at Mars University until I was laid off. Now this is a direct result of something that happened almost 3,000 years ago. A fellow named Mitt Romney was elected, and his,
I was going to say butt boy. Sorry. Paul Ryan, his vice president, they started this whole thing. They broke the unions. We had a wonderful union. We would have made money and provided for our family, but no.
Thank you.
My pleasure.
Uh,
Thank you.
yeah.